Oh, hello everyone. I'm just looking through my old Yu-Gi-Oh card collection. And I just remind myself how much money I spent on just collecting all these cards. A lot. So, why are we talking about cards? Well, today we're talking about a card game. And my expertise on the genre. Well, I say expertise of the card game genre, but I mean like those, you know what I mean. And we're talking about the ps2 version of Duel Masters, which is terrible. Let's get started. So, let's begin with the cover, and good lord, what is wrong with this cover? It's just some graphic, glowy cover with Bullshot Dragon on the cover. It says nothing, and some guy looking at us. You know, originally I could not tell that guy was looking at us. I did not even notice it till right now recording. These are the things you need to know, people. And let's look at the back. Okay, we got, I don't know, nothing. Tells me nothing. Really nothing. And who is this kid? I mean, who's this kid with the spiky hair? Where did that come from? I mean, he doesn't even look like he's in the zone. I mean, who's this kid in the zone right now? In hell. What next? I swear my life. So, yeah, that exists. Let's actually look at the story and, Why does everyone look like if somebody opened up How to Draw Anime book and they only just looked at the first pages and only skimmed through it at best? Because, good lord, they all look terrible. Wait a moment, who the heck made this exactly? Well, that explains a lot. Oh, not High Voltage. They're a fine game company. They made some decent things. No, I'm looking more at Atari. Why? Well, that's simple. Atari is fucked up harder than you have ever believed it. When I mean that in the general case of, holy crap, they allowed this? Level. And now thinking about it, yeah, this makes more sense. Actually, it makes all the sense. So what do we know about this? Other than it was only released in the West as Cobalt, that's all we know. And mind you, here's something I did find out. There was a Magic the Gathering manga that was written by the guy who directed and wrote for Suikoden. Yeah, when I found out that, before anything else, this should just be the cornerstone of telling you how much shit I could not find. And ain't that fucking ironic? So, why did I bring all of this up? Context. That is literally my only reasoning. Because, literally, the West did not care about this series, like, at all. And in fact, it's still ongoing in Japan. Which is still baffling to me, but whatever. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh's still going, and in all honesty, it's still more of a broken mess now than ever before. But that's a whole other story. My point being is, by understanding that, we can actually go into this, and you'll understand why I'm talking about this. Because of that, I also have to show you this. So, wait a moment. Why the heck did I bring up Magic the Gathering earlier? Well, one reason. They are the exact same game, almost. Yeah, originally it was supposed to be like this thing where it was trying to sell itself in Japan, but it just happened to make its own game, and which Wizards of the Coast did also help produce, which could have been a cause for why they stopped supporting it, because it was a competition with itself. Which is, oh god, that's always the worst thing to feel. So, wait a moment, how the hell do you play? Well, that's simple.
the game requires you to have a 40 card deck limit. That's the hard limit. You can't have more or less. And then you take the first 5 cards from that deck and then place them down. You can't look at them. Those are your shield. They represent your life points or your life or whatever you want to call them. Technically you have 6 life, since they count your hit as the final one. But then again, if you do that, you lose. So, what next? Well, you draw 5 cards. Then, you gotta place cards on the field. Well, how do I do that? Well, the requirement is that every turn you should, and I say should, you don't have to, but you should, play down a card in your mana zone. Though, each card has a mana requirement, it requires you to have a certain amount of it. Though, if you're not careful enough, your deck has to have a good balance, like in Magic, where you want to use up your high-level cards as mana so that you can summon your low-level ones, though not using all of them up just so that you can summon those cards later when you have enough. This game may seem a lot like Magic, but its subtle differences allow it to have some differences. Like, again, there are no lands in this game. You can use monsters or any other cards you like. Thus, I call the term fluff cards, which are cards that are used just for the sake of having cards in your hand to just send to the mana zone. Thus, there's no real problem of mana flood or drought, which is a sincere problem of Magic the Gathering. Though then again, the game has some other fundamental flaws, which I'll go into later, but essentially that's the main gimmick of the game. You just summon monsters, attack your opponent, and just win. It's a very quick game, if anything. The game should not last you more than 10 turns, if we're playing this very fast, or 15 at the maximum, unless you're in a stalemate. So yeah, there's a story, for whatever reason, and this character's name is Widow. I know, creative as heck, and she's being a bit of a cunt. And she wants to capture some monsters without really winning a tournament or something. They don't bother to explain this, or I really just don't remember. And either or, I say it's the game's fault for not interesting me enough to remember that. Because if I remember everything that happened in Yakuza series, all of it, and that should be my sign of saying, yeah, this game has a problem with its story, where I don't care enough. So yeah, monsters are left free and nothing happening. Nothing happens. They don't do anything. I know, riveting, I know. But in any case, you get to choose, after that cutscene, you get to choose between 5 characters, who I originally did not care enough to play as. All of them, just because. But I decided to choose 3 characters, only 3 of them, since they basically allowed me to understand what's wrong with this game in a nutshell, but the other 2 characters have something unique to them and also talked about their own problem, which is baffling to me. So in any case, let's actually begin with this with Luca, who I've begun with since he's black and uses a light civilization deck, which has always been my bread and butter. Since it's a good type of deck build, since Dark has good strong monsters and usually prevents your opponent from doing stuff, while the light side usually has cards that can help defend while attack. Yeah, you fought. I know. That was said weird to make you say since he was black. Y'all weird. So Luca's story begins where he's in a tournament where he gets disqualified by having a card in his deck that was not in his deck sign-up, which is actually a thing that usual card game tournaments use to prevent people from cheating and to allow for people to make that same particular deck later after the tournament, since it allows for a lot more creativity and yada. I know none of you care enough about that. So yeah, your quest now is to find that cheater who put that card in your deck and claim your loss. I'm sorry. I thought I was being funny, but no, I'm joking. We must gather pieces of some card, which I don't care enough to remember entirely. And here's the thing. Remember that plot I just told you? That just repeats all the time. You just need to collect the 9 pieces of the cards and that's it. Yeah. Shocking, I know. But, yeah, that's kind of like a problem of this game. Its plot is just mostly the same, just repeating itself. And here, I also found out another problem. I had to put the game on hard mode because remember those AIs I taught? Remember the Gab game I just told you about? You really don't need to learn that much about it, but you at least are better than the AI in a beginning or easy stage. Normal? Not even a challenge. Hard? You might actually get a chance to be challenged. But seriously, I don't know what's with these AIs. Like, at all. And what's worse is the dialogue. Because, you see, there was a reason why I made this review. And, you see, when I made this review for the exact purpose of showing off this scene, and, oh god. I want you to listen to what this character's saying, and you'll understand why I laugh at it every time.
Who you fooling, light boy? This is a man's game, not some toy.
I'm here for the clan wars. You up for a duel?
That's right, I'm here to duel ya. My skills will fool ya, smack down and school ya. And when I bring it to the zone, you know I'm gonna rule ya.
Was that terrible? Because I'm pretty sure that was terrible. And thus why I made a point about why I reviewed it. Because I had to show that out to somewhere. Somewhere out there, there is someone who does not know this scene exists. And that saddens me. Because this is hilarious. Actually, let's talk about this game graphics. And, yeah, they're pretty horrible. I mean, I have no need to explain this. I mean, again, like I explained earlier, it looked like if somebody had that How to Draw Anime book, but never looked through it, only skimmed through it, and drew this. The ironic thing is, this was made by Dreamwave Productions. They are well known for making the DMC-free version of the comic. Which, I know, that sounds odd. But I mean the American comic, not the manga, which, god damn it. This is why we kind of separate the two, because we kind of have this thing where we understand the difference. But, I know, pedantics, but still. Which also added swearing for some reason, but again, I digress. I only found out this during post-editing, which always baffles me. And I can't understand why. Why was this? Let's talk about music for a moment, and holy fucking shit, it's terrible. Like, how do you fuck up music? Usually in any game, I can usually find at least one song, or at least something to enjoy about it. Here, I genuinely got annoyed by all the music. Sure, it's that type of background music that you don't listen to, but it's that type of music that just annoys me. It's like, ugh. What's more baffling is about this is that who voiced it, that was being Audio Gods, and yes, that is with a Z, who did some work on some games that you really don't care about, like, I don't know, Professor Layton, The Curious Village, Marvel Alliance 2, you know, those games. I mean, like, nobody gives a fuck about those. But my point still is, how the heck do you fail this hard with actors like Lina I can't ever say her name. Here's her name. And Rodriguez Love. Which, I only talked about him only because I like his name. Because that's a name you can laugh at. So, that's enough about Luca and everything else. Because I really don't give a fuck at this point. Let's talk about Rebecca for a moment here. The water one. My favorite though, by the sheer fact that she has so many funny moments in it that I thought that it actually made me realize that is another problem with this game. The only reason you're playing it at this point
is to watch all the funny cutscenes at this point. Meaning, you don't care about the plot. You don't care what's happening to these characters. Because you already know what's gonna happen, and it's already annoying. Isn't that just terrible? I mean, like, here's a scene that made me laugh, because I just need to put these in here, because they are so damn funny.
Excellent. You may call on your signature creature during times of great need. You may also now use very rare and super rare cards within your deck. But the most potent weapon that I present to you is information.
Do you think?
Yes, she is now ready.
Ready for what?
The things we're about to tell you will come as quite a shock. You must prepare yourself. It's about your Aunt Vivian.
Oh, you mean how she's actually the widow? Or do you mean how she tried to bind the new creatures to cards before the temple tournament ceremony? Yeah, I figured that stuff out. Don't worry though, I'll find the 9 pieces.
Also, check this one out, because I did not ever see it coming, only because it came out of nowhere, that I actually stopped recording just to check this out.
Who was responsible for dragging me into this world? I will have my vengeance on them.
I seek the same goal. Fight for me.
Show me that you are worthy.
If you're wondering what's so funny about it, it's the voice acting, if anything. Because, good lord, why did they allow that? It makes it sound like everyone who's there was just, ugh. Now let's talk about the last one I played as, that being Rusty, who I chose mostly decided because I wanted to try to get footage of the extreme mode. Wait, what's extreme mode? Yeah, I didn't mention it earlier, only because something else, and I forgot to actually mention it, though it doesn't really matter, because I originally theorized that extreme mode was the reason why the AI was so weird. I mean, seriously, it would do nothing to me. And then, when I did play the mode, no, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It just does not work. Okay, so what is extreme mode? Well, extreme mode is basically every so often you're allowed to draw a card and add mana to your zone, and everything else is on a timer-based thing, and it's odd, it's awkward. I don't hate it, but the idea of the mechanic is very, very flawed, if anything. And it's still boring, because it's even more boring, if anything, because now you're wasting your time just waiting and waiting. Because in some regard, it can become a little hard. Though that's a little harder to explain because basically it's an AI doing a lot of things really fastly, more than you can react to it, which prevents any action whatsoever. Thus meaning it's like, wait, what? Oh, shit. Though this can be counterclockwise done against you, and I know I said that weirdly, but my point is still being, this system is still buggy as fuck. And I still can't believe somebody made this. There was another reason why actually I chose Rusty. That's because he's 10 years old. Thus meaning he doesn't understand the mechanics of the game. Thus, everyone just kind of plays this game differently. I originally thought that would be a nice joke to add in, but ironically the game made up this joke for me. And it's ironic.
Hey, Fire Clan! I'm from Nature Clan, and we're calling you out. Is anyone's of you brave enough to duel me?
I'll duel you.
Rusty? Oh man, does this mean I have to go easy on you?
What do you mean?
Never you mind about that. Let's do.
So, yeah, that exists. And even now, I'm just, I wish. Oh, honestly, I thought it was going to be at least a decent experience when I picked it up at a local game store. But no, it was terrible. And I just hate it. So, what do I rate the game? Go fuck yourself. I don't need a rate for this game. I mean, seriously, just think about this. This game exists right now, and you can get it for $5. That is the bare minimum I would pay for it at best. And at any point, I'm just... If I'm ever forced to play this game again, I would just murder someone. That's an ironic joke. So, what am I going to review next time? That's simple. I'm reviewing the Samurai Jack, The Shadows of a Coup. I thought it would be nice since I finally got through the chance of watching Season 5 of Samurai Jack, and actually, I really liked it. Hated the ending though, didn't like it. But in that case, till next time.